viewers, you're watching Afghanistan Report and I'm your host Chandrakala Chaudhary. The main stories are: Kabul shaken by twin attacks on Defense Ministry and international charity. 15 years on, the Afghanistan war still rumbles. Afghan students in Delhi flock to Learning Academy. Kabul city remains on target by the Taliban as they aim to destabilize the Ashraf Ghani government. Recently, the city faced two major attacks in which many people were killed and severely injured. We have a report.
The Afghan capital became a city under siege as suicide bombers set off twin blasts in a shopping area near the Defense Ministry on September 5, and gunmen stormed the offices of an international charity early next day. The attack was claimed by the Taliban and was followed a few hours later by a car bomb in Share-e-Nau, a business and residential area of the city close to the government and embassy district. After the blast in Share-e-Nau, 3 gunmen barricaded themselves in close to an office of Aid Group, Care International and a government complex.
دکان‌های ما رو شیشه میده کرده دیگه جا بسیار زیاد یک انفجار نیرومند بود بسیار قوی انفجار بود بیاد.
The first attack killed at least 35 people, including 2 army generals and a senior police official, and wounded more than 100. Among the casualties were shoppers, sidewalk vendors, and defense employees. The second assault, a car bombing followed by the protracted shootout at the offices of Care International, ended with 1 civilian killed and dozens wounded. They said 42 civilians were rescued.
مردم جمع شد بعد از یک انفجار بسیار قوی شد که نمیجه دیگه نمی کراچیوانا و مردم غریبکار و مردم عام و مردم بیچاره و مسکین که دنبال لقمنان در او استقامت هم دمیجان کل تلفات مردم ملکی و زن و بچه و مردم طبقه غریبکار و بیچاره بود.
دشمنان کشور عزیز ما است که یک قطره خون در وجود ما باشه علیشان مبارزه میکنیم. ما از عملات بزدلانهشان هیچ ترس نداریم.
The violence highlighted the precarious security in the capital just a month before a conference in Brussels, where international donors are expected to pledge continued financial support to Afghanistan. The Taliban's ability to conduct coordinated attacks in Kabul has piled pressure on the Western-backed government, which has struggled to reassure a war-weary population that it can guarantee security.
It was in 2001 that the US declared war on Taliban in Afghanistan after the attack on Twin Towers. But even after 15 years of war and billions flowing as aid, Afghanistan remains in shambles. The successive US administrations have failed to yield any clear strategy to bring the conflict to a responsible end. We take an analysis at what led American forces to pursue its longest ever war in the history.
This September marks the 15th anniversary of the beginning of war in Afghanistan. The 15-year-long conflict raises serious questions on the American policy on Afghanistan and highlights the failure of US President Barack Obama's strategy to gradually wind up the conflict. Soon after the US declared a war in Afghanistan in 2001, it invaded Iraq back in 2003. The US was forced to shift its entire resources, including military, personnel, and finance, to the Middle East.
Well, this is indeed the longest war in American history. This was a wrongly conceived, wrongly planned, and a wrongly executed military operation. And the consequences of this, the US authorities and the US government and the state is currently facing even today and will continue into the future. Firstly, let me identify just 3 principal reasons. Firstly, it was an inaccurate assessment of the actual problem. It is a problem of enormous internal instability within Afghanistan, the rise of Islamic radicalism in the region, and the significance, of course, was the rise of bin Laden, and the adoption of the Islamic extremists to undertake terrorist operations countering the United States. And finally, it was not adequately resourced. The type of continued commitment that America had to put in to a major war in such a faraway place as in Afghanistan was lacking in US policy.
The resurgent Taliban holds more Afghan territory than before and pose far greater threat. Militants are carrying out increasingly daring attacks. Analysts are of the view that the current situation in Afghanistan is worse as the Taliban has set up its command and control structure in neighboring Pakistan. United States has fought the war on one side of the Afghanistan-Pakistan divide and been reluctant to go after the Pakistan-based sanctuaries of the Afghan Taliban and its affiliates, the Haqqani network. So, did the Pakistan and its rogue ISI led to the failed war in Afghanistan?
Pakistan knew that it had to play a double role. So even as the Americans were attacking the Taliban in Afghanistan and trying to capture and destroy the Taliban, Pakistan simultaneously supported the Taliban. It facilitated and assisted bin Laden to extract himself and his personnel from Afghanistan and provided them sanctuary within Pakistan.
Peace in Afghanistan is necessary to sustain the development efforts in the entire South Asian region. The carrots without sticks approach has only encouraged the non-state actors and their political masters. To accomplish the desired result, a comprehensive strategy needs to be chalked out by the US administration, including important South Asian players like India.
And now we take you to India's capital, Delhi, where many Afghans come to avail education and health facilities. Many government and private institutes offer special courses to Afghan students. Let's visit Learning Academy in the capital city.
Delhi is home to many Afghan refugees. Apart from the children who have settled here, the national capital also attracts many Afghans from outside due to the rich educational facilities it offers. One of the institutes that cater to the needs of Afghan students is Learning Academy. There are different courses that are run for about 2,000 Afghan students that attend classes here, like computer courses, English speaking courses, and mathematics. The founder of Learning Academy, Praval Mani Tripathi, launched the institute after teaching at another tuition center.
I started teaching Afghan people at very subsidized rate. Like for example, we have a course here, we teach English proficiency program in which there are 3 levels, beginner, intermediate and advanced. For that we charge only 2,500, in which we provide 3 books, that is by Oxford University Press, along with the audio CDs and other expenses like notebook and pen. These are also borne by the institution. Our main objective is to teach English and to make them empowered so that they could speak and also they could be confident.
The academy has become a hit with students as well as parents. Many of them have felt a positive change after undergoing tuitions here and have become confident members of the society.
I read in here mathematics, Hindi and English, and I don't have problem with teachers, and our teacher teach us very well, and I don't have problem with the center. It is very good. And
before that I came here, I couldn't do anything with Excel or MS Word. That was very difficult for me, and now it's very easy for me because I studied very well and the teachers are good.
Most of these students wish to continue their education in India. That there are security issues that force them to leave their country and migrate anywhere.
1 year I study engineering in Afghanistan, but I can't continue because we came here. Now I want to continue my education in India and engineering because I want to be a good engineer in the future.
Such initiatives help a community in need and facilitate deep bonds between Indians and Afghans.
Now we meet Australia's Curtis McGrath, an army man who lost both his legs in a mine blast in Afghanistan. He is participating at Paralympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. Let's watch this inspiring story.
28-year-old Curtis McGrath lost both legs and injured his wrist in an IED blast in Afghanistan. After 4 years of the incident, the former combat engineer in the Australian Army has been selected to represent Australia in the para-canoe event at the Rio Paralympics.
Yeah, 20 minutes after the explosion went off, I was being carried on a stretcher, getting taken to the helicopter landing zone, and I said to the guys, you guys will see me in the Paralympics. Because when we were there during the patrols, we would come in and there'd be the Olympics on, and the vibe was on, and we'd get into the spirit of it. So it was just something that I said to lighten the mood, and here we are.
After months of intensive rehabilitation, McGrath embarked on a training program to make the Australian Paralympic squad.
So we train 6 days a week, twice a day, two to three times a day. So it's quite extensive. We're doing about an hour and a half each session. So you spend a lot of time fatigued and tired, and hopefully it all pays off this week. Yeah, so you don't get to the Paralympics by not knowing your competition and making some friends along the way. So it's great to see everyone sort of rolling into the village, and the hype's building up there, and the facilities are really great. There's a lot of people there, and there's a lot of space, so it's quite good.
McGrath admits he's new to the sport of para-canoeing and is excited to compete as the event makes its debut at the Paralympics.
Well, viewers, with that we come to the end of this week's episode of Afghanistan Report. I am Chandrakala Chaudhary taking your leave. We will be back next week with more news and views from Afghanistan. Goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.